the AI ready graduate. Let's talk about that today. Welcome to the Reach Every Student podcast with me, your host, Jon Bergmann. Shout out to Jamila MacArthur from the Audi School in Houston, Texas, who sent me this link to this article, The AI Ready Graduate, Harnessing Human Creativity for the Next Era of Work by Jeffrey Selingo. Jeffrey is a New York Times best-selling author, and he's got just this amazing article that's got me thinking. Now, he's writing this to a higher ed audience, and I think what he's got to say has a lot of application to those of us in K-12. If you're a university professor, totally applies, right? He said some interesting things. So I'm going to just read a few excerpts and kind of get you to his sort of main thesis. He said here, the ascent of AI has ushered in a new era of work where the skills needed to keep up in any job are increasingly churning at a faster rate, making the college degree more insufficient. So what he's saying is that he works in higher ed, is what's the value of a college education? Maybe the value has gone down. Here's some stats. Let's listen up. Here's what's changed. Now listen to this. Quote, unquote, generative AI now excels at many of the tasks once reserved for entry-level hires, researching, writing, analyzing, designing, summarizing. It's doing what junior associates in law firms, editorial assistants in media companies, and analysts in finance departments used to do. So here's the deal. We have that entry-level job for that brand new graduate of college, but now AI can do it better than they can. What is that going to mean to the value of a college education? This is the big question. How do we do this? He talks about how small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses are beginning to automate tasks more and more by AI. He doesn't cite this, but I've been reading studies how most companies are beginning to curtail hiring of new graduates, college graduates, to get them lesser. That doesn't mean they're not hiring, but they're hiring less people. So that means the job market for those new graduates is becoming less and less. And I think the big idea that really stood out to me is he starts talking about where are institutions, these are universities. I think this is totally applicable to those of us in K-12. Where are they lagging? Where are institutions lagging? And he says, listen to this quote. If we're not conversant with training our students to use and reflect on what will be the most transformative technology of our lifetimes, we're not doing our job. He's quoting Matthew Kinstrick, a professor of English at the University of Delaware. I think he's so right. And we need to rethink what we're teaching our students. Now, for years, I've been talking about how we need to change how we teach. And I'm still I think that's going to be my message for the end of days, is that we need to think how we teach. But I think we begin to now ask the question, what we teach. Now, I know that we've always needed to change what we teach, and there's a huge movements to say, what should we teach? I still think a lot of things that people say, we don't really need to teach that. We do. I think it's important to teach students how to write, to think creatively, all those kinds of things. I think that's so important. But I think there's also a point that we have to teach them how to be fluent with AI, but yet not use AI as a crutch. I mean, here's my big idea. This isn't from the article, but my big idea is I feel that what we're going to see a bifurcation of society. We're going to see those who do these are young people, the hard task of going deep and learning and using AI as a springboard to greater things, and those who will use AI in ways that will degrade their intelligence. And we're going to create even a greater bifurcation of our society than we already have. And to me, that is the biggest danger of what I see with AI. And he goes on to say, now back to article, is he calls this the ladder principle. And I love the idea. So he's got ladder. Ladder's an acronym, LADDER. And probably the most important one is the L. And the L stands for, guess what? Ladder. We being the college professors, I'm not a college professor, but what he said, when we produce a graduate, they need to ladder over entry-level work, right? He says the entry rung of the ladder for new college graduate has cracked. Gen AI now handles several of the tasks that once justified hiring fleets of 22-year-old college students. Colleges must therefore prepare students to start higher on the value chain by ensuring they take part in more assignments and projects that require judgment, negotiation, and integrative thinking, skills AI can't fake. Career coaching that helps students articulate and the distinctive value they add beyond the bot is absolutely necessary. So students need to jump away from the entry-level job to the second and to the third-level job when they come out of graduate. Now, I think there's huge implications for those of us who teach at, say, college preparatory high schools, which is what I do. And at my college preparatory high school, I believe, honestly, we're doing a great job of helping our kids to think through these AI things. Could we do better? Absolutely. But we need to be thinking about this. And all of you who are in the K-12, I know that's the vast majority of my audience, K-12 teachers and administrators, we need to be thinking about this to prepare our students for the future that's going to be there, whether you like it or not. So L is the ladder principle. A is align thinking of how to use AI in higher ed so it's like what students will experience in the workforce. So as employers, the employers are going to ask, is this test best for a person or AI, or the two together? So we need to help our students see that. We need to align our institution thinking about this. The D is we need to develop, first D by the way, L-A-D-D. So ladder, align thinking. D is develop fluency among faculty. So fluency of AI. There's a vast gap between the AI understanding and AI use or whatever of our faculty. That's true at both K-12 and at higher ed. And so there needs to be a huge movement to train our faculty to develop that fluency so that they can help their students as best as possible. So ladder over entry level work, align our think about how to use AI. D number 1, develop fluency. D number 2, design creative uses of AI within and between disciplines. Listen up. Empower faculty to find practical ways to make Gen AI part of the curriculum. He gives an example. At the University of California, Santa Barbara, Benjamin Breen, an associate professor of history, uses simulation experiences in his course where students use ChatGPT to generate conversations around historical moments, from Pompeii to the Cuban Missile Crisis. Other instructors have noted benefits of using Gen AI for concrete examples for abstract ideas that make them more relatable and understanding. We need to really come up with creative ways to use AI. So ladder over into work, A, the L. A, align our thinking on how to use AI. D number 1, develop fluency amongst faculty. D number 2, design creative uses. The E is engage industry partners, the workforce, in credentialing as credentialing partners. Get them to help us know how AI is being used. Of course, it's going to just change and change and change, but it's people, our students need to get upskilled to that they know how to use this in a positive ways. And go back again, ladder over entry level work, that's L. A, align our thinking on how to use AI. D, develop fluency. D, number 2, design creative uses. D number, and then E, engage industry. And last is, and I think this is the critical thing, this is the thing that I'm so worried about, the R is reinforce ethics and reflection among students. We need to help them to understand when AI will help and when AI will hurt. And again, go back to my conversation a minute ago, that bifurcation that I see in our society is so critical that if we get this wrong, we're going to cause great harm to a lot of our students. And that's what I don't want. And so AI, there's great aspects and there's terrible aspects to it. We're going to see both of those rise to the top, and we're going to have to make decisions. Each individual is going to have to make a decision how they're going to use it. And my hope is that at least with the students that I teach on a day-to-day basis, that we're going to help them to make the choices that are going to help them to become thriving citizens. But I fear for a vast number of students, now I'm looking globally as a global thought leader, is that in working with schools all over the world, that there's going to be a lot of students who are going to fall through the cracks, and it's only going to be used as a crutch, and it's going to hurt them and hurt their brain development and limit their possibilities. So, hey, how's that for a positive note to end on? Hey, I hope you enjoy the podcast. If you like it, please hit subscribe and share it with a friend. Yeah, go out and reach every student. Jon Bergmann out.